As of this month, just under half of our Hawaii Department of Education class of 24 has completed their FAFSA, and that's down about 9 or 10 points from last year at this time. So it's pretty significant. We're still ahead of the national average a few points, but that's not especially good news for anybody in here or elsewhere. That said, our four-year campuses have been packaging financial aid, notifying students of their offers, moving forward, and the community colleges are on track, processing this week, and we'll be packaging and making offers next week. So looking at the numbers, right now, our total UH student system-wide headcount and student semester hours, that's the number of courses essentially students are registered for, are both up slightly from last year at this time, which is great. And it is especially good news because UH Mānoa made some changes in its registration schedule to improve service to students. But as a result, students are registering, first-time freshmen are registering about 2 weeks later. So that means when we compare this year to last year at the same time, the students have only been registering for about a week now. They started last week. So all of our Manoa numbers are underrepresenting where we expect we will end up. So just a few quick data points that I think are helpful to understand. Our degree-seeking student headcount is already up about 3%. And that's in spite of this issue with Manoa registration numbers no longer being comparable. And then a few items that are not really related to the change in schedule for our first-time freshmen at Manoa. Our continuing enrollment, undergraduate continuing enrollment across the system is up over 6%, which is great for retention. Our Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander enrollment is up over 4%. Our resident enrollment is up almost 3%, and our undergraduate transfer rates enrollment is up very slightly, but that's a number we have struggled with. So just seeing it positive at all is wonderful. And those numbers are all pretty comparable. Next, I want to comment on our non-state and non-tuition-driven funding. And both of these items I'm going to be extremely brief because you get full reports from Vice President Sirmos on extramural funding and Vice President Dolan on philanthropic funding, and those will be coming up in the next month or so. But since the fiscal year just ended a couple of weeks ago, I want to let you know that we closed out just a remarkable year. Our extramural fund total was just over $615 million, first time over 600 million, third year in a row of increases, third year in a row in which we set a new record. So we're definitely on the upswing. Our philanthropic total was just under 115 million this year. Not quite a record, but it's our highest total in any year when we didn't have a unicorn gift, by which I mean something over $50 million. Those, we love those big gifts, but those we can't count on every year. And this is a sign of a steady growth in our base funding, which is really necessary and welcome as we march on to our $1 billion for UH for Hawaii campaign. And the totals matter and the numbers are easy to report because they're just one number. But what I am inspired by personally is that every one of those dollars is a vote by our sponsors and our donors. That's external trust in our university, our faculty, our students, in the work we do that's vital to our state, our nation, and our planet. And when you get the full reports, you'll see the way that's spread out across the university. I want to take the last item out of order. So let me give a quick update on a project one of you asked me about, which was the announcement of a contract for the Institute of Astronomy to continue to operate the infrared telescope facility on Maunakea, or IRTF as it's known. And today you'll get a full discussion of future plans for Maunakea with our colleagues at the Maunakea Stewardship and Oversight Authority. IRTF is pretty interesting because it's one of the facilities that is used to identify asteroids and comets that can pose a threat to Earth. And so this is an asset in NASA's overall planetary defense system. The contract is big. It has a maximum potential value of $85.5 million. It could run through December 2033, which is the end of our current lease. But we were very careful in our contract to communicate that there will be a set of decisions made by entities other than us following the transition of stewardship responsibilities no later than 2028, as you'll hear more about. And again, in addition to the money, which is important, these are good jobs on Hawaii Island primarily. But Hawaii is a critical player in planetary defense, and not many people really think about that. But multiple instruments in Hawaii and around the world participate in this. In addition to IRTF on Maunakea, we have the IFA Pan-STARRS project on Haleakala. Some of you saw when we visited a few years ago. They conduct surveys that compare current and prior imagery to detect moving and variable objects. And then our ATLAS program, which has sites on Mauna Loa and Haleakala that we manage, along with partners in South Africa and Chile, to get views from both the northern and some southern hemisphere, comprise part of NASA's early warning system, optimized for detecting smaller near-Earth objects a few weeks or days before they would impact Earth. So it's a big part of what we do that's really important. Lastly, let me jump back to the previous item, and I'll ask the chair to help me after I make a few remarks. The Board of Regents Willard Wilson Award for Distinguished Service to the university is named in honor of a longtime UH administrator, was a secretary to the Board of Regents. There's hope for you, Yvonne. Willard Wilson, who set a standard for exemplary service to the university during a 40-year-long career here. The 2024 recipient of the award is Dr. Kathleen Kane. Kathy, somewhere back there, will embarrass you for a bit and then present you with something. Kathy is the director of the Office of Faculty Development and Academic Support at UH Mānoa. She has been here for over 3 decades. She started her career at the Center of Teaching Excellence before transitioning to become the director of OFDAS, as we call it, the parent of the CTE where she worked. On top of coordinating our biannual new faculty orientations, TA trainings, she coordinates numerous professional development workshops and events for those who teach here. She manages the Excellence in Teaching Awards, the Promotion and Tenure Dossier Library, the Mentor-Mentee Pairing Program. She goes above and beyond her regular work by bettering the academic environment for faculty and students. And she does this not just for UH Mānoa, but throughout the UH system where she's viewed as a leader. She recently hosted a summer faculty learning community about equity in the classroom, bringing together faculty from all campuses across the system. And she's always willing to step up and help her colleagues elsewhere across the islands. She's been a key partner in the design and development of the innovative classroom spaces some of you have seen around campus. For example, the award-winning Sakamaki Innovation Zone, the Webster Collaborative Classroom, and the newly completed Dean Hall Culture Lab. So I'll close with a quote from her staff. We believe you would be hard-pressed to find anyone on the Manoa campus who doesn't personally know Dr. Kane or her work, or who hasn't benefited from the many programs and activities she has spearheaded and supported. Dr. Kane's work will undoubtedly leave an indelible mark on teaching and learning at the University of Hawaii. So congratulations, Kathy.